Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we've got a couple of new Pokemon V that we need to be having a little bit of a chat about, and a new Pachirisu. All will make sense in a moment. So let's start off having a look at Flygon, and I should of course remind you that our translations here do come from the lovely Antoine Boulet, and I'm going to be honest, by now you should probably be expecting this. So, Flygon, any good? The answer might be yes. So starting off then, we got 220 HP, which is standard for a Pokemon V, it's on the high end. Being a dragon, you have no weakness, which is lovely, but you are hitting nothing for weakness, which is less lovely. And retreat cost of 2 is fine, I suppose. Now starting off, we got a grass, fighting energy, 70 damage, why? Again, we have no double dragon energy here. With double dragon energy, I kind of like this a lot. Because you'd be paying it for a single energy, so you would go second, and on turn 1, basic Pokemon, single energy, 70 damage, start taking out evolving Pokemon, or support Pokemon, things of that nature. Yes, it would actually be really good, it would make me love the first attack. But it's not. Sure, you can try and play around with stuff like Turbo Patch, but let's not kid ourselves that this could end up being really good. It's disappointing, frankly, ladies and gentlemen. It's very disappointing. Could be amazing. Is in fact disappointing. However, what we've got is grass, 2 fighting, colorless, 160 damage. Fine. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon V Max, this attack does 160 more damage and discard free energy from this Pokemon. So basically, against a VMAX, you're hitting 320. Now, 320 isn't perfect. Generally speaking, you need to be doing 340 to get a guaranteed KO, but that extra 20 or maybe even 10 or maybe no damage is not that difficult to pull off. So my conclusion on Flygon pretty quickly is this. If we can get the energy we need on there, really good attack, 2 prize Pokemon that can go and smash 3 prize Pokemon, yes, love it. But, and this is a very big but here, we need to ask the question of, it's going to actually work? And I'm honestly not sure. And that's a problem. Like, that's a really big problem. If we can get the energy on, yay! If we can't get the energy on, boo! And the problem is, grass and fighting, not the easiest ones to get on there. Now, we do have Cherrim. Cherrim is great for accelerating grass energy. To Pokemon that don't have a rule box, this has a rule box. Bit of a pain. We do have B. B lets you discard a bunch of cards from top of your deck, and any fighting energy you find you get to attach, which sounds good. But wait for it. Only to your benched fighting Pokemon. So B doesn't actually work because you're not a fighting Pokemon. And Cherrim doesn't work because you've got a rule box. So how am I getting the energy onto Flygon? I don't think I am. Sorry. And the thing is, if I can get this working, it's great to smash Pokemon V Maxes. And yeah, I know that over time, Pokemon V Maxes are going to get less relevant. Incidentally, as I told you, there were not going to be. There were no new V Maxes in Brilliant Stars. It is, or in Starbirth, which is going to be Brilliant Stars. It is all but confirmed at this stage that V Maxes are done. We've got that weird Pikachu Korokoro promo, which I still don't fully understand why that's coming. Not complaining, it looks awesome. But VMAXs are basically done. So what we're going to see is over the next year or two, a lot of VMAXs are going to rotate out, or they're going to get left behind by V-Stars, and then VMAXs are going to get less and less relevant. But while they are still relevant, this could be a really good card. If we can pay the energy cost. And if there's something obvious I'm missing, let me know in the comment section. In a world with double dragon energy, I could see this working. Because there is a colourless energy on there, so there's a million different ways we can use whatever to get that colourless energy on. That works quite nicely. We could use Melanie to attach a water energy. I know that's 3 different types of energy, it's just an example. But grass, we generally use Cherim, and that ain't going to work. Fighting, pretty much the best we've got is Bee, and that's not going to work. So I come back to what I said a minute ago. How are we going to get the energy on? And I don't think we are, which sucks. I mean, sure, we've got things out there like Raihan, but Raihan will attach 1 energy if you had a Pokemon KO'd the previous turn. We need 4. No. We need something more substantial than that, and I don't think we've got it. I'm getting 3 Wassies because I really like the attack, but I don't see right now how I can realistically chain that attack, or even need to chain it, just use it twice during the game, and that is a huge, huge problem for me. Moving on though, we've got Hauntz Crow, and maybe Hauntz Crow can work a little bit better. I mean, for starters, it's got a payable attack cost, which is nice. 200 HP is very low. That sucks, but I do like the resistance to fighting, that's quite nice. We've got an attack, 2 darkness, 1 colourless energy, 130 damage. Your opponent reveals their hand. I don't really like it. 130 is very low. I mean, even if you're hitting for weakness, you'll get Mew V, for instance, but you won't get Mew V Max. And if I'm putting free energy on a 2-prize Pokemon, and I'm not getting a 1-hit KO on a Pokemon that's weak, I want answers, quite frankly. So that's a little bit awkward. And yeah, it's just not good enough. It's just not. Sure, looking at your opponent's hand is nice. I like looking at my opponent's hand. That is going to give me some nice extra information. That's lovely. But it's too expensive and too weak, and I don't like it. However, I do kind of like the ability. And the ability says this Pokemon can have up to 4 Pokemon tools attached to it. If this ability stops working, discard tools from this Pokemon until there is only 1 tool attached. Now, the first thing this does is just open up just so many options. I mean, I'm going to spoil from a couple of videos' time here, but we're getting Choice Belt in the set, which lets you do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon V, so 4 of them does 120 more. Which is clearly ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. Or we got Rocky Helmet back a little while ago. So if you put 4 Rocky Helmet on here, your opponent attacks you and deals damage, and you put 8 damage counters on them. Yes! Absolutely yes. But this just opens up a whole bunch of options. I'm not going to go through all the different options. Incidentally, that will probably be rotating out in September. But we got a little while. So we got some options, and this is really cool. And you can mix and match, or you can go nuts with particular tools or whatever. But really, the attack lets it down. What we really need here is a Pokemon that can take advantage of this having all the tools. A Pokemon that maybe a single prize Pokemon. Maybe a Pachirisu. Also, and I've mentioned this like 3 videos in a row now, and I don't even care. Hi, Gonosuke here. I am loving this artwork. It's been kind of poking at me for a few sets now how great this artist is. But I showed you the Manaphy the other day. I've shown you that Cricketune with the amazing alternate artwork. And now this, there is something about, it's no Okacheke, let's be clear. But there's something about this artist I absolutely adore, and this Pachirisu is phenomenal artwork-wise. Is it any good? Well, for Lightning and a colourless energy, you do 30 damage for each Pokemon tool attached to your Pokemon. So yes. Because what you can do is basically just have a bunch of Hauntz Crow on your bench, get a ridiculous amount of tools attached, and off we go. And I'm not saying you will, alright? But let's go hypothetical for a second. Let's pretend everything's going beautifully. I've got 4 Hauntz Crow on the bench. All of these Hauntz Crow have 4 tools attached to them. That is 16 tools in total. If there are no other tools on the field, and I'm not doing anything else to magnify my damage, then I am doing 16 times 30 damage, which if my maths holds out, is 480 damage. which is way more than you need. At the moment, the most you ever need is 340 for big VMAXs like Eternatus. And I know I told you the other day that Wormadam was my new pet deck, and it is. I think Pachirisu might be as well. I love this. Now, there is always a possibility that your opponent just starts picking Hauntz Crow off the bench, and that's a problem. But there is another problem, and it is actually a really big problem. Path to the Peak will wreck this. Like, properly wreck this. Because Path to the Peak turns off the abilities of Rulebox Pokemon, which means if I have, hypothetically, got 4 tools on each of my Hauntz Crow, this will get rid of 12 tools. Now, interestingly enough, that's got a regulation mark of E, and Hauntz Crow and Pachirisu have F, so there will be a year between Path to the Peak rotating out and this rotating out, where maybe we can take advantage of it a little bit. But not everyone's playing Path to the Peak, and even if you've just got 1 tool on each of your 6 Pokemon in play, that's still 180 for 2 energy on a single prize Pokemon. That's still not nothing, ladies and gentlemen. That's still 2-hit KOing a Pokemon V Max and 1-hit KOing Pokemon that give up 1 prize, or your weaker support Pokemon like Crobat. It's not exactly the end of the world, ladies and gentlemen. And again, that's if your opponent's turning off abilities. If they're not, I like this. I really like this. It being a lightning and a colorless is a little bit of a pain, I'll be honest with you. What I really want here, I'll be honest with you, I want Tapu Koko. That's what I really want. I want Tapu Koko. I can't have Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko's rotated, but that's what I want. Like, ideally, that's the card I really want to have here. That's the card I think could end up being really good. It's irrelevant, but that's what I want. Of course, Flaffy remains in the game. And we do have that Manaphy, which acts as a bench sitter now, which incidentally will make decks like Flaffy way better. And you're talking to 2 energy attacks. If you've got 1 Flaffy in play, this is going to work quite nicely. So I'm not worried about the energy. I mean, you could play Grass Energy with Cherrim if you wanted to. I don't know why you would play Cherrim over Flaffy, because then it's just all lightning energy and Flaffy's got more HP and all of that, but you could. There's a million different ways to get the second energy. I'm really not that worried. Flaffy's probably the best, but there's a million different ways. It's all good. I really like this. Maybe the second energy will be too awkward. Maybe Hauntz Crow can be turned off by Path to the Peak, or your opponent just is going to keep gusting and KOing it. Maybe there's too many problems with the deck, but I really like Pachirisu, and Hauntz Crow makes it tick. I'm giving them 4 Wassies. This might be one of those things that I want to work more than it will, and incidentally, Hauntz Crow, you can have some fun tricks with the 4 tools, but I think the attack being bad holds it back. Oh, sorry. Did I forget to mention that Doublade is still a thing? No, unfortunately I didn't. Doublade was in Team Up and rotated out a little while ago. So basically, Pachirisu is the tool drop that we've got at the moment, although Antoine reckons it's called Mechanical Thunder, which is a way better name. But as it stands at the moment, no, we don't have any other tool drop in the format, because unfortunately, yeah. And it is worth pointing out, Pachirisu is actually not as good as Doublade was, because Pachirisu is 30 damage for each Pokemon tool card attached to your Pokemon, whereas Doublade was all Pokemon. But I'm fairly sure the reason for this is quite simple. Doublade wasn't here with Hauntz Crow. Pachirisu is. So they've had to essentially make it a bit worse to cover for the fact that Hauntz Crow is really quite good. I could, however, point out that the Garbodor from Vivid Voltage will still be here for a little while before it rotates out, which does 30 damage for each Pokemon tool card in your discard pile and then shuffles them into your deck for just 2 colorless energy. Again, basically the same cost as Pachirisu. And oh look! Now, if your opponent does play something like a Path to the Peak to discard all of the tools off of your Hauntz Crow, Garbodor comes in and does huge damage? I cannot be the only one that thinks this is a really good follow-up Pokemon. And maybe I've been talking about this too long and this video's going on for too long, and I don't care. I am in love with this deck. I love Garbodor from Vivid Voltage coming in as a closer, or when your opponents drop Path to the Peak. I love Pachirisu. I think Hauntz Crow's super interesting. I suppose I should have mentioned at some point that this Hauntz Crow has the ability of the old Sigilif. That was the Sigilif from Plasma Blast, which literally just had the ability toolbox that let you have 4 Pokemon tools attached to it, and was played with the Trubbish in a tool drop deck, and was actually pretty gosh darn good. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I'm getting excited about this. I really like this. I love the Garbode is still a thing, although that will rotate out, unfortunately. But again, not for a little while. And I love that we got Hauntz Crow and Pachirisu together, and this, along with Wormadam. I'm excited. There are 2 decks in Brilliant Stars I'm seriously excited about, and this is awesome. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I think, but I want to know what you think, so let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.